Have you ever heard of a leader so fast, so decisive, that his nickname was the Thunderbolt? Today, we're diving into the dramatic life of Bayezid I, the fourth Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, a man whose ambition reshaped the world map and whose story is a whirlwind of triumph and tragedy. Our story begins in 1389, on the bloody fields of the Battle of Kosovo. Bayezid's father, Sultan Murad I, is martyred, and in the chaos of battle, Bayezid ascends to the throne. This was a brutal start, but it forged a ruler of immense resolve. From this moment on, Bayezid moved with incredible speed and ferocity, earning him the legendary title Yıldırım, or the Thunderbolt. And trust me, he lived up to the name. His first major goal? Anatolia. For centuries, this region, the heartland of modern-day Turkey, was a fractured puzzle of competing Turkish states, or beyliks. Bayezid saw this division as a weakness. With lightning speed, he launched campaign after campaign, sweeping through Anatolia. He subdued powerful beyliks like Karaman, Aydin, Saruhan, and others. Imagine a map being rapidly painted in Ottoman colors. For the first time in a very long time, Anatolia was being unified under a single, powerful ruler. This wasn't just about conquest. It was about building a stronger, more stable economic and military foundation for the empire. But with every new territory, Bayezid also created new enemies and sowed the seeds of future conflict. While one hand was busy in Anatolia, the other was reaching deep into Europe. Bayezid continued his father's expansionist policies in the Balkans. He didn't just nibble at the edges, he went for the heart. He secured Ottoman dominance over Bulgaria and turned states like Serbia into vassals, forcing Christian rulers to pay tribute and serve in his army. The Ottoman shadow was stretching further and further across southeastern Europe. This rapid expansion sent shockwaves through the courts of Europe. The Pope, the kings, the knights, they all saw this new, formidable power in the East as an existential threat. They decided something had to be done. A grand coalition was formed, a massive crusader army composed of the finest knights from France, Hungary, Germany, England, and beyond. Their goal was simple: to drive the Ottomans out of Europe once and for all. This epic confrontation was set to take place at Nicopolis, on the banks of the Danube River, in 1396. The Battle of Nicopolis is one of the most significant clashes of the late Middle Ages. On one side, you had the flower of European chivalry, confident in their heavy armor and their righteous cause. On the other, Yıldırım Bayezid and his battle-hardened Ottoman army. The Crusaders, overconfident and disdaining their enemy, charged headfirst. Bayezid, however, was a master strategist. He used his lighter cavalry and disciplined infantry to lure the knights into a trap. The result was a devastating, catastrophic defeat for the Crusaders. The Ottoman victory was absolute. Nicopolis cemented Bayezid's reputation as an invincible warrior and established the Ottoman Empire as a major world power that Europe could no longer ignore. His fame echoed from the halls of Paris to the markets of Cairo. After this monumental victory, Bayezid's ambition soared to new heights. He turned his gaze to the ultimate prize, the jewel of the East, Constantinople. The ancient capital of the Byzantine Empire, though a shadow of its former self, was still a symbol of immense power and prestige. Bayezid knew that capturing it would be his crowning achievement. He began to intensify his efforts, launching multiple sieges against the city. He even built a massive fortress on the Asian side of the Bosphorus, called Anadolu Hisari, to control the strait and starve the city into submission. Although he never managed to conquer Constantinople, these relentless sieges severely weakened the Byzantines and made it clear that the city's fall was not a matter of if, but when. At this point, Bayezid was at the absolute peak of his power. He ruled a vast empire stretching from the Danube to the Euphrates. He was the undisputed master of Anatolia and the Balkans. He was feared in Europe and celebrated in the Islamic world. It seemed like nothing could stop him. But from the Far East, another storm was gathering. A conqueror even more ruthless and ambitious than Bayezid himself. His name was Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Timur was a Turco-Mongol conqueror who had carved out a colossal empire in Central Asia. A clash between these two titans was inevitable. Both were proud, powerful rulers who saw the other as a rival for dominance. Tensions escalated as defeated Anatolian princes who had lost their lands to Bayezid fled to Timur's court, begging him to intervene. The stage was set for a cataclysmic showdown. In 1402, the two armies met on the plains near Ankara. This was a battle of giants. The Ottoman army, though formidable, was exhausted from constant campaigning. Many of the Anatolian soldiers in Bayezid's ranks were also reluctant, as they were fighting against a ruler who promised to restore their old masters. Timur, on the other hand, commanded a massive, disciplined, and terrifyingly effective army, complete with war elephants that the Ottomans had never faced before. The Battle of Ankara was a disaster for the Ottomans. Betrayals within Bayezid's ranks and Timur's superior tactics led to a crushing defeat. In a turn of events that no one could have imagined, Sultan Yıldırım Bayezid, the Thunderbolt, the victor of Nicopolis, was captured on the battlefield. This was an unprecedented humiliation. An Ottoman sultan had never before been taken prisoner by an enemy. The story of Bayezid's captivity is shrouded in legend and sorrow. Some accounts say Timur treated him with respect, while others claim he was held in an iron cage as a trophy. Whatever the reality, the humiliation was unbearable for the proud sultan. Bayezid died in captivity less than a year later, in 1403, a tragic and shocking end for a ruler who had once seemed invincible. Bayezid's defeat and death plunged the Ottoman Empire into chaos. This period, known as the Ottoman Interregnum, was a decade-long civil war as his sons fought each other for control of the fractured empire. For a moment it seemed as if the Ottoman state might completely collapse, that Bayezid's legacy would be one of ruin. But it wasn't. Despite the tragic end to his reign, Bayezid's impact was profound and lasting. The foundations he laid were strong enough to withstand even this catastrophic shock. His unification of Anatolia and his solid establishment of Ottoman power in the Balkans were crucial. They created a base from which the empire could recover. And it did recover. One of his sons, Mehmed I, eventually emerged victorious from the civil war, reunified the empire, and set it back on a path to glory. Within 50 years, Bayezid's great-grandson, Mehmed the Conqueror, would finally achieve his ancestors' ultimate dream, the conquest of Constantinople. So, how should we remember Yıldırım Bayezid? He was a ruler of incredible contrasts, a military genius, whose speed was legendary, but whose ambition led to a devastating downfall. He expanded his empire faster than anyone before him, but this rapid growth also created the vulnerabilities that led to his defeat. His life is a powerful reminder of the heights of human ambition and the razor-thin line between ultimate victory and utter ruin. He was the Thunderbolt, a force of nature that blazed across the 14th century world, and even in his tragic fall, he remains one of the most dramatic and influential figures in all of Ottoman history. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another epic tale. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see us cover next. Until next time.